25 years ago, the wizarding world came to life. It began with the publication of the first novel in the 7-part Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
You're a wizard, Harry.
By J.K. Rowling. It has since become the best-selling book series of all time.
Did we know that it would sell over 500 million copies by the summer of 2022? No. But we did know that it was a great piece of writing.
The series was adapted into an 8-movie franchise by Warner Bros. The movies alone raked in $9.2 billion in worldwide box office sales, one of the highest grossing franchises of all time. The entire Harry Potter empire is estimated to be worth around $43 billion, from books and movies to theatre and even theme parks. Fans have been enchanted.
It was just phenomenal. It was nothing like I had tried to read before, because the story was gripping enough that I wanted to keep trying to read it. Because unbeknownst to muggles and like everyone we know, there was this, not underground society, but there was like this hidden world in plain view almost.
Publishers Bloomsbury have commemorated the anniversary with a special edition of the book that started it all.
It's amazing how they've been passed down generation to generation, and also a tribute to how important the stories are and were, and still are to people's lives.
Rowling is now the second highest paid writer in the world, with an estimated net worth of around $1 billion. She has since published a spin-off series, Fantastic Beasts. 3 of the 5 scheduled movies in that series have already been released, meaning Rowling's world of witchcraft and wizardry is not losing its magic anytime soon. Tayyibe Aydin, TRT World.
Well, for more on the wizarding world, we're joined by Richard Haigh, the Managing Director of the brand valuation consultancy, Brand Finance. Really good to have you back with us, Richard. Firstly, it's hard to believe that Harry Potter is 25 years old, but you really would hate to be one of the many publishers that turned down what ended up being a lucrative franchise. Can you reflect to us the impact that the Harry Potter series has had on the publishing and the media world?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's funny thinking that it's 25 years old, because I still remember when it came out. And it was one of the most transformational books for many people of my generation, particularly in the UK, but I'm sure around the world, as we've heard. It is truly a remarkable book. I mean, just the way that there are so many elements that could have been franchised and monetized. Although I'm sure that that's not what J.K. Rowling was thinking when she wrote it originally. She was just trying to create an accessible book with stories that people around the world would love.
That's right, and as we heard from Tayyibe's story, it's estimated that the entire franchise, when you factor in book sales, movie sales, but also theatre productions and merchandise, is worth around $43 billion. In terms of other literary publications that have had this much economic impact, can you think of any? Does it really compare to anything else that has been published?
So I suppose when you say literary, that's where the conversation ends. I think when we're thinking about franchises in the grander scheme of things, talking about the likes of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars, many things that are sort of comic book based, things like Pokemon being the largest franchise of all time. It's very difficult to draw a comparison to many other book series because Harry Potter is vastly in excess of all of them. But many of the other franchises that are out there have been very successful in using merchandise to grow themselves. And that's something that the Wizarding World and Harry Potter franchise system is really starting to get into now, and diversifying beyond just the books and the films into some of the other things that the likes of Pokemon and Hello Kitty have really been successful in over the last 50 years.
Richard, I think you and I are both old enough to remember those scenes of those queues of people really lining up for the latest installment of the Harry Potter book. But what do you think is the secret to the success of this franchise. Let's put the writing aside for 1 minute, because obviously it's the storytelling that really is at the basis of this success. But beyond that, how has it managed to really turn into this huge empire worth tens of billions of dollars?
So just to point out, I don't just remember those queues. I was in those queues. I remember staying up till midnight queuing for the books. But yeah, I mean, it's through very successful management of the IP. You know, when looking at these sort of things, just like all brands, and it's something that we do at Brand Finance all the time, you need to think how it's going to be applied to whatever business unit it's going to be. So, you know, it could be school lunchboxes in the simplest sense, but then there are many other ways of franchising intellectual property to grow businesses, and Warner Bros has been very successful in doing that. Things like their theme parks and Harry Potter World and many of the other physical items and manifestations of the brand. And then J.K. Rowling has been continuing to create content which has helped to grow this franchise further. And I suppose that's one of the things that is going to be necessitated by continuing to grow the brand, not just because there are copyright laws and there are various other laws out there that mean that you need to be creating content to be able to continue franchising it. And that's one of the things that you see with the likes of Star Wars as well, with their new spin-off series and things like that. So I imagine going forward, the Wizarding World will continue with their current film series, but it wouldn't surprise me if they start to do some spin-off TV series or Netflix deals to go in the same way as many of the other franchises out there.
Richard Haigh from Brand Finance. We'll have to leave it there, but really good to get your thoughts on the story. Thanks again for joining us.
Nice to be here.